from the elites. Have you ever wondered, or even begin to ask yourself, why now? Why start tearing down Trump? Why put out all these hits on him to discredit him and bring in destruction of his campaign and whatnot? Is it because the establishment is scared and worried about what's going on, that they're going to be exposed for what they've been doing? You bring in somebody like Mitt Romney, full of lies, it's part of the establishment that contradicts himself, and everything he said is just I mean, come on, it's all over the news. We watch this, and it's pretty amazing. So why are they doing this? Because, it's simply put, if we find a way to eliminate the Republican Party of being able to finish with the proper electoral votes, then we can cause somebody to come in and offset it, like Mitt Romney, if he ran for the Republican, or if he ran Democrat, or if he even ran on his own independent self. This would really start upsetting things. Obama had made a comment before that he wanted to make sure, pretty much, without saying it, that he wants a Democratic successor to be able to carry on his agenda. What is their agenda? Well, right there it is. The end game agenda, FEMA camp. These people are in a process right now of creating a global crisis. This global crisis will actually put fear into the world. Okay, if the governments create a problem, the people will create a reaction to that problem, which will allow them to initiate a solution. And in this solution, it is their agenda and all their plans. Okay? Nobody watches these channels of the House of Representatives or the Senate or anything like that. And when you watch them, I mean, there's hardly anybody there. They're passing bills or doing things because nobody's watching, nobody cares. Though they're putting it right up there for you to watch, but nobody's watching. Everybody's too busy with their own lives. So they pass all this right up under our noses, and then we all want to cry, well, why is it happening? Why is it happening? Well, because you're not paying attention. Your mind's too focused on TV programs, believing the news that's controlled by the elites, putting out their propaganda to keep you in the blind. You're too busy with your kids of school projects and everything else. That's why a lot don't end up in the churches, don't end up praying, don't end up reading their Bible. And things are getting passed through the schools to brainwash the kids, raising them for a generation that's really going to truly accept this new world order, except they're not going to have a chance to grow up. So yeah, I'm telling you, your kids are not going to have a chance to grow up, graduate high school, or go to college. You know, those dreams for America are pretty much over with. You know, they're planning to end the whole realm of how we go about our normal daily lives, and it's done through executive orders. Now, Obama has initiated many executive orders that simply state he's got the right by in the president, it's by law now, that he can take over all the water supplies, the transportation, the schools, the properties, the homes, and do all this. Plus he can imprison people, being that of the terrorist groups or even American people if need be, even if by force he can use the military on them, to actually take and imprison them indefinitely, okay, without cause or due process or anything else. Now, when you think about this, it's pretty scary, because that's the whole objective that Hitler had with the Jews, okay? But right now, if you look at this agenda of the terrorists, the most highly, above all terrorist groups being identified, the most highly identified terrorist is Christianity. Okay, those that speak out, that they don't have a problem talking about, you know, sin, wrong lifestyles, demoralizing the human mind and heart and soul. You know, anything that comes up against what the government's trying to push, they are called radical Christians, and they are #1 hit list as a terrorist group. Pretty much with my videos going out there and talking to you people, I'm pretty much tagged. Alex Jones is a good one. He's been fighting him for a while, and people call him a conspiracy theorist. Though it's been said that pretty much everything he's been saying has been coming out to be true, and I give a lot of praise for Alex Jones. Like to sit on a show and talk with him, like to even meet him, because we go hand in hand. I'd like to open his eyes up to what he's talking about and how it lines up with the biblical standard of God's viewpoint and what God said, because all he's doing is verifying the prophecy has been told. And in this coming up 2016 election, this is what we're going to see. And here's about 3 or 4 scenarios, and watch for one of them to happen. One, the Democratic and Republican Party will be at a failure. Okay? The establishment doesn't want Trump in there, but they're not going to be able to beat Trump, because every time they speak against Trump, the people rise up. So they got to do away with Trump. Okay? They got to stop the process and get everything locked up. They don't want Hillary in there because, well, or Bernie Sanders, because they're not really staying true and everything's coming against them. So the only choice we got is somebody like Barack Obama. So with that being said, and Obama said this many times, if he ran, he could win the 3rd term. They're trying to do away with the 22nd Amendment, to where the presidents no longer have a set term, that they can be there indefinitely until death or whatever. They've been fighting and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing several times over, taking it to the floor to be voted on to do away with that, which means that you can pretty much have a dictator of the United States. Now, if Obama wanted to, like everything else that's supposed to go through the voting process of Senate and Congress, that he's pushing executive orders to bypass that. And with these executive orders, Obama could very well initiate a state of emergency, martial law, by pushing something on a Democratic convention or Republican convention where assassination is plotted, and create another outbreak like we've seen in, Missouri and California, riots breaking out, which is initiated by our government in order for them to be able to evaluate how the people react and how they can conform their military around it. The massacre, people be amazed how much of this is implemented by the government in order for them to be able to see what's going on and how they can react to these people in America, because America is not like the Middle East. The Middle East, you don't know who it is. America, they know who it is. It's everybody. Everybody will will unite and come against them. So with him doing that, that could actually lead him into saying, no, we're going to continue the process of elections 6 months or 12 months down the road. Right now, we got to get things under control. Here's martial law. Here's the executive order. He's in office. Push this through. Come on a Friday, the bank system hits a button and shuts down the whole banking system, initiating the RFID chip to where everybody has to be chipped in order to be able to be tracked and be able to use their currency, because the banking system is corrupted through an infiltration of Russia or China or something like that. And if you think about it, China has infiltrated our systems more than once and hacked into them so they could blame it on China. And therefore, because of them manipulating their money, we could use that for an excuse in order to shut the banking system down and go to an RFID chip to where you buy and sell and trade through the scanning of a hand or forehead. And then shortly after that, they could set off an EMP bomb of America and blame it on Russia or whatever, and that shuts down all of our power grid, and shut down our power grid creates chaos. Okay, now through chaos we can initiate, look guys, because of what we're into, we need to gather all of our weapons together, stockpile them up, and get them over here. That way we disarm all the villains and everything, and that way you got a better chance of survival. So people will do this. See, create a problem, get a reaction, bring in a solution. And so when they disarm it, okay, you disarm the people, now you got control of the food, because within 72 hours, anything in your refrigerator or freezers are pretty much going to be spoiled or going bad. Starvation is going to start running rampant. The people are going to start pillaging and robbing, and it's going to get very dangerous. So we get a system for sanctuaries, which is better known as FEMA camps, for people to come there for safe haven. Okay, come here. We got food. We got the generators and everything going. We've got food here. We're able to take care of you. So people freely walk into them, but people don't get to freely walk out. Okay. Notice the big Walmarts, the Kohl's, Targets, and big companies like that are shutting the doors, and some of them's being shut down to be renovated. But here's the problem with that. There's been no permits pulled on anything, and what they're doing is they're transferring these over as into a filtering system in order to displace people into specific regions that's been set up by the United States in order to have people set in these regions to eliminate the people from being spread out in order to better control them. And then you got the depopulation process taken in effect, and Georgia Guidestones prove it. I mean, people has been put right in our noses. Nobody wants to pay attention to it. Georgia Guidestones even talks about depopulating the nations. Okay, this is all part of the executive orders. It's all part of the plan to get these FEMA camps fully indwelt. And what I mean by that is simply this: 200 FEMA camps in the United States, fully employed, full staffed, no occupants. Now that's pretty amazing. Why? Why would you have a business with it being employed but no merchandise in it? Okay, there's no commodities for them to work with. Okay, you are a commodity. You're no more different than a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk on a shelf to the government. You are a commodity, okay? And you are a stress factor. The more they can eliminate you out of the picture and destroy you and get rid of you, the more they can go on with what they want to do without any resistance. To get rid of the resistance, guess what? You got an open field of play right here. It's process of elimination. Get rid of the problem, perfect solution. With the solution comes total agenda, comes total conquer, total globalization of control. Disarm, control the food, control the people. One world order, all being accessed at this very moment. Now, those that have been in prophecy and studying scripture, they know that, okay, we are in the end days. We are living in the end days. The time is at hand, and okay, let's quit saying it and let's see what the whole process is going on and what we got to face. So, I believe that that's one scenario for the 2016 election. Here's the next one. That they got one that is pepped and primed to follow up behind Obama to walk into the United States. The United States, for some reason, pulls out of the European Union, and we seclude ourselves and set ourselves with Israel, okay? And we do this paradigm shift where America stands stable. And Barack Obama, since he's got the bid in for the United Nations head council seat, I mean, he's going to be the president of the United Nations, making him dictator of the world, he will actually go over and take that seat. Okay, and by taking that seat, he will create war upon America. Think about this. Eliminate America because of how powerful she is with her military. Get her out of the picture. We got free access to Israel because we know this battle with Israel is coming up. And if you want to know how serious that is, get studying that. Pull up Saudi Arabia and the 350,000 plus troops they got over there. 3 dozen nations coming together doing a global military exercise, they call it, which is nothing more than setting up and undermining the human race in order for them to take strategic positioning in order to get themselves set up in strategic positions in order to initiate World War III. I'll lay almost everything I own that World War III war will begin this year, pretty soon. Everything I've seen, everything I've been looking at, I've said for what, there's nothing left to be fulfilled in prophecy outside of the return of Christ, rapture of the church, and 1,000-year millennial reign. So that's a very